Mm. So what's the name of this place?
Hyrax Hill Museum.
Hyrax Hill Museum.
Yeah, and also a prehistoric site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about it, the history?
Yeah, I can begin with the history, but first
Yes.
of all,
Yes.
I can begin with the reason why this place was called Hyrax Hill Museum. The reason it's because of those rodent-like mammals known as hyraxes, which inhabited this place, and they were plenty in number. And of course, the presence of the hill. That's the reason behind the name of this place, Hyrax Hill Museum.
Okay.
So the history begins at early 1920s. The old farmhouse and the whole farm plus the gallery, it belonged to one farmer, dairy farmer, known as Madame Ada Selfie. So one day, Madame Ada Selfie, as she was doing her daily routine in her farm, she came across stones arranged in circular manner. And then, due to curiosity, she decided to know, like, have there been people who have been living here in this place before me? So due to that curiosity, she contacted an archaeologist known as Louis Leakey, whereby Louis Leakey, by that time, he was just living around a place known as Lanet, still in Nakuru. So Louis Leakey did not respond immediately. So in the year 1923, a publisher by the name J.A. MacDonald published an article. Then Louis Leakey saw the article. Then after he saw the article, he again contacted Madame Ada Selfie, the owner of the farm, and informed her that no excavations should be done in this place. He should be the only person to do the excavations from this site. But again, akukuja. So in the year now 1926 is when Louis Leakey came to this place. And when he came, he just surveyed the land and found that the information which was found in this place, it related to recent archaeology. But he himself, he was not interested in recent archaeology, but ancient archaeology. So due to that, because again, his wife was still an archaeologist, she contacted her and informed her about what she found. Year 1937, that's when the excavations from this site began. And she began her excavations at the southeastern part of the hill, where at the southeastern part of the hill, she excavated two settlements, Iron Age settlement and Neolithic settlement. And at the Iron Age settlement, she excavated materials made of iron, like iron rings, bracelets, and also harpoons, which signified that the people who occupied that place, they practiced fishing. And after that, she moved 50 meters towards the foot of the hill, where she excavated the Neolithic settlement. And at the Neolithic settlement, she excavated 19 skeletons, and they comprised of both male, female, and children, and they were all buried in a crotched manner, like they had then supported with big rocks at the sides. And again, the men were buried with big stone slabs, which signified their superiority in the community, and the female were buried with grinding stones and also savvy bowels, which signified that there is life after death. Like even after they die, they'll continue cooking for their families. And the children were buried with nothing, which signified that they owned nothing in the community. So after all that excavation, she built a structure just by the side of the site, where it was made of wooden poles and grass thatched, where she preserved the 19 skeletons. But the structure and the skeletons does no longer exist. Maybe because, and there is two hypotheses which supports this. Because it was built at the bushes, maybe because of wildfires, it might have consumed the structure and the skeletons. And again, because the materials were biodegradable, due to contraction and expansion, they might also have decomposed and decayed. So that's the reason why the structure and the skeletons does no longer exist. And after all that, she named the site as Site 1. So again, in the following year, she now moved to the northwestern part of the hill, where she excavated hollows and mounds, and they were all 13 in number, and they were named using alphabetical letters. But for now, you can't be able to view the hollows and mounds. But we have only one hollow which was left for public viewing. That's Hollow D. It's the only one which was left, and we have it at the site. Yeah. So at the hollows, they are cattle pens where they used to keep their cattle, and again the mound, it was their compost pit where they used to throw their remains, the cow dung, any breakages or bones zenye zilibaki. So at the mounds, Mary Leakey found some pot fragments and she assembled them together and she came up with a pot. And she concluded that it was the Sirikwa pot. So she concluded that they were the Sirikwa people who settled to this place, and they had migrated through River Nile. And the reasons why they could have, which forced them to settle in this place, because they were pastoralists. One, it's because of security purposes, because the presence of the hill, they used the highmost part of the hill as the watching tower, and the bottom part of the hill as the hiding place. That was the hill fort. And so and again the presence of Lake Nakuru, so presence of water, and again green pastures. So those are the reasons which might have forced them to settle in this place. So the pot, she used typological method of dating to conclude that it was the Sirikwa pot, because again it resembled the one she had excavated earlier in Egypt. So zilikuwa zimefanana. So that's the reason why she concluded.
So we have the pots here.
Yeah, we have the pot.
Okay, so possibly as we move across the site, we can be able to identify each and every part as we get the explanation. Certainly. So
the gallery is divided into three sections. At the middle section, it's the archaeological section. On my left, it's the natural history of Lake Nakuru Basin. Then on my right, it's the material culture of the Rift Valley people. And at the archaeological section, we have the artifacts which were excavated from this site. So all the artifacts which are displayed in this section are real from this site, the Hyrax. But the section of the Hali mine, it was not from this site. It was displayed here because it was the work of Mary Leakey. So that's the reason why it's here. And the two skulls, they are not real.
okay.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
From the showcase here displays how the Sirikwa people used to settle. The hollows and mounds I was talking about, and the different kinds of livestock they kept. And the trees, that's the presence of the hill, the topmost part, the hill crest, the watching tower, the bottom part of the hill fort, the hiding place. Then the three houses attached by the hollows, the two belonged to the guards, and the one here, it was their family house. And the family house consisted of the elderly, children, and the mothers, like the women. That's what I mean. Then here the hollow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these were the animals.
Yeah, they kept, yeah. Sheep, goat, cows. Okay, so this is the Sirikwa pot, the one Mary Leakey assembled. Which were found from site 2. So the pot here, it was found at site 2. Maybe from the hollows or a mound. Yeah, but it's not indicated here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proceed.
And these ones are the iron materials I was talking about, which were excavated from site 1. Yes, pottery, shells, crescents, harpoon for fishing. We have the grading stone, plain escales, snail prayers, iron bracelets, and ornaments.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do we have here?
The map here is a map of Kenya. It indicates several museums of Kenya, but here it's not up to date. The museums here are not up to date because for now we have so many museums in Kenya. Okay. But here, the reason why it's here, it's to differentiate between site museums regional museums and archaeological sites, in which site museums, for example, Hyrax Hill Museum, it's a site museum where you find when excavations are done and artifacts are found from that site, they are carried and displayed in a gallery like this. Unlike archaeological sites, when artifacts are found, they are not removed from there.
They remain at the original position.
Yeah. And then the regional museums, it where excavations are done from the whole region, then they are kept in one gallery.
Okay.
Yeah. Displays the contours of the hollows and mounds. From the history, each year we have a different color indicating what was excavated in that year. Then using the color, you can be able to locate where the hollow and the mound was excavated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the different years.
Yeah, and colors. Only 3 stages of the early man, where we have the early Stone Age, which they used their tools. You can see their tools are different. For the early Stone Age people, they used bigger stone tools, unlike for the middle Stone Age people, they were a bit smaller. And again, for the latter Stone Age, they were very small stone tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they kept on improving
Yes.
with the technology.
Yeah. This one here, the stone bowel, it's the one which was found at the 2 settlements which Madam Heather Sylvie came across. It's the one here.
What about this particular part?
These are the 2 skulls of the Homo erectus and of the Zigardropas. You can see they are different, but they are not real.
See?
This is the section now of the material culture of the Rift Valley people. It involves different attire, containers, ornaments, tools, which the Rift Valley people use for different tribes of the Rift Valley people.
Okay.
What we have here is the Turkana doll. And the purpose of the Turkana doll, the Turkana girls, they used to make their dolls. Then during dances, they could go for the dance ceremonies. Then each girl could shout the name of her doll and the name of the man she was interested in. Then the man could either reject or accept the offer of the girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the different traditional clothings.
Yes.
Okay. What about here?
The showcase here, it showcases the different containers of different communities of the Rift Valley people. Like we have the Gitete for the Gikuyu people, that was for preserving or beer. And we have the Kerebe for the Tugere people, Iwalikuwa wanatumia kama hot pot. We have the fat storage flask kama akuton for the Turkana people. Pia hiyo ilikuwa for serving food kama for pia to keep milk ama porridge. And again we also have the honey pot for the comic in Okiek language. Pia hiyo walikuwa wanatumia to collect honey or to keep honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do we have here at the ornament site?
Different ornaments for different tribes and communities. We have the Maasai, we have the Samburu, we have also the Kipsigis, we have the Turkana from the other side. Yeah, different of them.
So these are the different ornaments.
Yeah, ornaments.
Then what are we having here?
The weapons of different communities, but most of them it's the Maasai and the Turkana. Like the wrist knife, that was for the Turkana. But
We have the
wrist knife, the one at the middle.
Okay.
That's the wrist knife, that was for the Turkana people. Then the shear and shield, it was for the Maasai people. Again, the club and the spear, still for the Maasai people.
Okay. And then we have the tools.
Yeah, different tools. We have fire sticks, the fire sticks, the purpose of the fire sticks. We have rapul for the Luo people for digging. We have scraper for the Elmolo people, again for digging. And we have the goat bell for the Agikuyu. We still use them in our communities.
We still do.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have the musical instruments.
Yes. We have the flute. Also, the flute is common, even up to date. We have leg bells for these are for the pocket, and we have another one here, but it was of the same purpose for the Gikuyu. They call it shigambu. Then kikodit for the Kipsigis again, and we also have the koti for the Pokot people.
Okay.
Here are the attires again for different tribes. Here we have the apron, front apron for the Gikuyu people. They call it mwengu. And the second one, it's naiwet for the Nandi people. Again, it's a front apron. And we also have sandals for the Kehio people. And we have headdress for the Maasai.
Okay. Which one is this?
Natural history of Lake Nakuru Basin.
Okay.
Here
So
we have the rock Hyraxes I was talking about. The reason behind, the animals behind the name of this place.
Okay.
For now, you'll be able to see them. To see them, it's either you come very early in the morning
Yes.
or late in the evening.
Okay.
They are rock Hyraxes. It's real, imekawashwa.
oh, it's a real one.
Yeah.
Okay, but preserved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it's just a picture.
It's a picture of Lake Nakuru Basin.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were once one lake.
Okay.
Then due to global warming, they divided into two.
So we have which lake and which one?
We have Lake Nakuru and Lake Elemendaita.
Okay.
Yeah. In which they were once
So this is the Lake Nakuru.
and Lake Elemendaita.
Elemendaita.
Yeah.
Okay, and then next, what are we having?
Just a model of the Rift Valley, the formation of Rift Valley. So what is there is just the model.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then next.
Here we have the stem borers. The reason why it was here is because the people of the Lake of Nakuru, they are farmers.
Yes.
But they mostly plant cereals. And
Okay.
the stem borer mostly affect cereals. So that's
Okay.
why it was displayed here.
Okay, and then
We have flamingo, in which we have different types of flamingos. This is the lesser flamingos. We also have greater flamingos. And flamingos, of course, they survive in salty waters. They can't survive in fresh lakes or fresh lake waters. And also for their breeding, they still don't breed in Kenya. For breeding, they have to fly up to Lake Natron in Tanzania for breeding purposes.
okay. What else are we having?
Here, a picture of the waterback. If you go to Lake Nakuru, you can be able to spot one. The one we have here, it's just a model of it made of wood. And the one here is a male one. It's not a female. The difference between the male one and the female, the male one have horns, unlike the female one. The female one don't have horns.
Okay.
Then again, just a model of cobra.
What are we having here?
Here we have guinea fowls, in which of course we have again different types of guinea fowls. We have domesticated ones and we have wild ones. But the ones we have here are wild and they are helmeted guinea fowls. And the reason why they were named as guinea fowls is because they originated from Guinea. So that's the reason they were named as guinea fowls. And of course here we have different genders, the male one and the female one. And to know the difference between the male one and the female one, we look at their horns or casques, in which you find for the female one, it's straight and points upwards, but for the male one, it's kind of twisted backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many do we have here?
We have only two here, a male
Okay.
one and the female one. And they do lay eggs because they are birds. And to lay their eggs, for the guinea fowls, they have a season. That's from September to March. And you find that even in a week, they can lay 4 eggs. In a month, they can do 17 eggs. But for the whole season, they can do 100 eggs.
Okay.
But they are very poor mothers. Guinea fowls are very poor mothers.
After hatching?
After hatching, yeah.
They
don't
leave
even
the
go
young
back.
ones for their own.
Yeah, they keep.
To survive on their own.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I put you inside. You go touch it.
It's tortoise, and we have different species of tortoise. But here we have only 2 species. The leopard tortoise, these ones, the big ones are leopard tortoise. It's the modest species of leopard. And we also have the bell hinged back tortoises. The reason why we call them bell hinged back tortoise is because of the presence of these hinges, and again, like the structure of the bell.
Okay.
The formation of their carapace, it's like the structure of the bell. So that's the reason behind their names. And again, the leopard tortoises are herbivorous, and like these ones, they are omnivorous. And here, for the leopard tortoise, we have the 2 genders. That's the male one and the female one. And I can show you.
So how do you tell a male and a female one?
So I can show you practically.
Yes.
We first of all look at their sizes. So
Okay.
the female one,
Yes.
it's bigger
It's
than
huge.
the male. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a female one.
Yeah, this one is the female one,
Okay.
and this one is a male one. And again, another different, we look their shells.
Yes.
We have the outer shell and the inner shell.
Okay.
The outer shell is the carapace, and the inner shell is the plastron. So we look at the differences between their plastrons. For the
Okay.
female one is flat, but for the male one, it's curved. The reason why for the male one it's curved,
Yes.
it's for easier mating.
Okay.
Because for mating, they normally mount on each other, and it's the male which mounts on the
The
female.
female.
Yeah, and again we look at their claws. For the male one, they are very short and blunt, unlike for the female. Female zinafaa kuwa long and strong.
Okay.
Very long and sharp, because they help them during digging. For them to lay eggs,
Yes.
they have to dig. So that's the reason why their claws are very long. And again, we look at this point here, the rear part of the plastron.
Okay.
We look at their shape. For the female one, it's U-shaped for easier passage of
Yes.
eggs.
Yeah.
But for the male one, it's V-shaped for easier mating. And
Okay.
again, their tails. You find that for the male one, it's longer, and like for the female one, it's very short.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the differences, to know the difference between the male one and the female one. And again,
Yes.
because we have not estimated the years of each tortoise, but to know the age
Yes.
of a tortoise, we take the uppermost scute. Then using magnifying lens, you count the number of rings. The number of rings of the tortoise, it's equivalent to its age.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the more the rings.
the older the tortoise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many tortoises do you have here?
We have that too in number.
There are 32.
Yes.
Okay. What do they feed on?
Herbivorous. The leopard one are herbivorous, so they feed on vegetation. And like for the bell-edged back tortoise, they are omnivorous, so they have to feed on both meat and vegetation.
Okay.
Yeah. And their lifespan, again, in a captivity like here, whereby they are protected, they can stay from 150 to 300 years. And like in the forest or in the wild, they can live for only 75 to 150 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.